Hello. Hello, hello.
Alrighty. So let's
Thanks for
pretend that
that
we
great
don't
intro,
know each
Colby.
other. Um,
Yeah, right.
and dive right into it. Please tell me all about yourself and the wonderful work that you do both in VR and outside.
Okay, so my name is Leah. I transitioned in 2012, so been it's been a minute since I've done the whole transition thing. So um, been here a while, and yeah, I do motion graphics for a living. Basically, I'm a freelancer, and so that kind of gave me like a kind of a starting point for 3D stuff, I would say in general, which eventually led to Audiolink. Um, but yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting many wonderful people in VR chat, and including Tizzy, and through Tizzy I met Colby and several other people, some of which I think are here too, Scout as well. Yep, and yeah, it's been quite a ride, and it's been super awesome, and happy to be here. But yeah, I guess as far as like what led me to Audiolink, it was really kind of me and Tizzy and a few others, and yourself included, hanging out in VR chat early on in pandemic, and VR chat was a lot different back then. I don't know if how many people here were um, members or using VR chat at that point. It was a lot different. Things were a bit more like rough around the edges, I guess you could say. But it was great. It was just like an open playing field, and that was kind of the inspiration for Audiolink in general. Um, yeah, I would say like the experiences that I had with my friends in VR chat. Um, that was what really inspired me to create this project, and I think probably the biggest inspiration was going to parties, hanging out, having a good time, and I get to see like yeah, lots of crispy. Um, yeah, we call the seltzer waters crispy boys. It's kind of an inside joke. Yeah, so we started going to these parties, and I started noticing that a lot of the worlds that we were going to, we were going to like drinking night, and I think it was like Void Club and stuff. Um, all these clubs, they all had stages, and they had reactive effects on stage, and it was really like powerful to me, like how much you could do with just this wide open space. Like, basically for free, you can create whatever you want in VR chat. It's like super inspiring. And I knew I wanted to make something. So I come from a background of DJing and doing like, LED stuff, and I have like the whole motion graphics background, and the 3D background. So it all just kind of like, it was kind of like right there in front of me, I felt like. And I was like, I got to make something here. So one of the things that I noticed with these clubs is they all kind of lacked a spontaneous reactivity to the music. So, usually when you go to, a big stage, or even just a club, or maybe you're just, hanging out with friends at a bar somewhere, there's like some kind of like visual, you know, basically audio link in the bar. And and I wanted to bring that into VR somehow. And there were a few options out there, but it was very limited in scope as far as what you could do early on.
So kind of in the early days of VR chat, or at least during the pandemic, when a lot of these kinds of social events became really popularized, it was very much a Wild West, and all of these creators were the pioneers of all the tools that we now have today. And you saw a need to have what we know in the real world. In normal clubs, we have the DMX systems, and various ways of controlling stage rigging and connecting them, controlling BPMs, or having audio like be reactive in automated settings. That kind of led to your passion to creating Audiolink. Now, on the surface, as a very broad description, what is Audiolink for those of the audience who they probably see it all over the place? They may not even they may not know how it's used or whatever. Like at its core, broadly, what is Audiolink?
Right. So Audiolink is a way to bridge the gap between what you're hearing and what you're seeing. So it is, in essence, a way to create synesthesia. And it provides a kind of a layer of tools that make that very easy to do. So, you know, you can drive a lot of different things from the amplitude of audio, or like, you know, parts of like the audio spectrum. So you can drive something from the bass, or you can drive something from the treble, or you can, you know, look at the waveform, or you can do all these things which are visual representations of audio. So in essence, you are bridging that gap between hearing something and seeing something. And that connectivity in your brain is a really cool experience, I think. And one of the things that has always been really powerful to me, as someone who has a career in motion graphics and design and stuff, you know, it's those connectivity points that really like get people excited, and or at least get me excited. So so that's kind of basically what Audiolink is. And
Yeah, and so right now, like you have Audiolink on your avatar, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
so what it is doing? How is where is it pulling the audio from? For those who are kind of less familiar, where is the audio source coming from, and how does that translate into something reactive in world?
Sure. So so Audiolink starts with a audio source that exists in a VR chat world. So with what we can do in VR chat with the wonderful creator tools that they provide us with, we are able to get audio from the world and analyze that only. A lot of, you know, there's a lot of people that want to have Audiolink react to their voices or to audio sources that are on avatars. Unfortunately, that's not possible with the tools that VRChat gives us. And I'm sure there's reasons behind that. However, you can do a lot with the world audio, and you can also stream, you know, and people do, you know, Twitch streaming into, or even, you know, just any sort of streaming service that you can watch on a video player in VRChat can then be analyzed by Audiolink, and the data can be accessible through that. So it's in like, you know, Too Long Didn't Read, like it comes from the world audio only.
Awesome. So basically we have audio files are essentially waves to people who are less familiar with what audio is. And it's a spectrum of frequencies that we are able to analyze. And what Audiolink helps us do is we're able to identify these frequencies and say when these frequencies are active in the sound wave, we want these things to be active to those frequencies. So in clubs, what you commonly will see is things that are bass reactive. So when a
Yeah.
drop hits, generally bass is introduced. And so you have things that you know are going to be more reactive to the parts of music that people they're given a cue to dance to. And you can separate various parts of the frequency to be reactive however you want, whether that's on an avatar or a club system. There's some of the music worlds that I know that we've been to, where speakers will be reactive, and as the audio hits, you will see changes that happen to the speakers. So that way we know that music is coming from a source. So there's a lot of really amazing ways that we see it utilized, not just for like a visual effect. You have it on your avatar. You can there's so many ways that I've seen Audiolink be used, and most recently, I believe I saw a video of somebody taking the Audiolink and taking it outside and using LED to be
Yeah.
reactive to Audiolink. I don't know to the extent too much of that. It's just
Yeah.
something that I saw very
Somebody
briefly.
somebody
But that's
recently just
incredible.
posted on the Discord. Yeah. Somebody recently just posted on the Discord that they had gotten Audiolink running on an LED strip. So, so I think they were taking like they were somehow connecting through the like VR chat window that pops up like when you have your VR headset on, and they were like writing a few pixels in the corner of the screen and then reading from that. I'm pretty sure. Um,
That's
pretty interesting
incredible.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many
There's a
ways that it's
there's
been used. I
yeah
know that
there
we had it.
there's a
I've
huge
done some
community
live
of
shows.
people. Yeah.
Mm,
There's a Discord for Audiolink. It's not necessarily like Audiolink specific. I created a Discord server called VRC Audio, and you can find it on the Audiolink GitHub page. It's open to everyone. But I created it just for audio stuff in general, because like as with Audiolink, like the ethos is just open source, free, full. Everyone can join and try anything they want. That's kind of the name of the game
hmm
with that project, and especially that server too. So that server is primarily where we develop Audiolink, but it is not limited to Audiolink projects. So yeah, it's very much an open platform for the community. Yeah.
Amazing. It's like how I've been able to utilize it and seen it used in unique ways. In November, I had done a live show at Royale in Boston, which is one of the kind of the larger clubs there. And we brought in the Peppercast XR team, who has a bunch of dancers, and they kind of work to bridge the gap between real life and virtual events. And so
Oh,
we
cool.
had the music that I was DJing live, we had streamed in VR chat to dancers who were dancing to our music live wherever they were in the world on a green screen, essentially. And that the video file was
Nice.
then brought back into the our VJ software called Resolume, which was actually being run by Silent, who's going to be the DJ closing artist for the festival tonight.
Oh,
So definitely make sure you all come to that. Silent, she's such an amazing VJ and DJ. But she was able to take these dancers, who a lot of which were using Audio Link in their clothing. So we had music that I was DJing to live being brought into VR chat, being used on these dancing avatars, brought back into the real world, and then overlaid onto these visuals on the LED walls within the club. So like the layers of depth that Audiolink has made it into both VR and the real
That's
world
awesome.
is pretty incredible, and I'm super
That's
excited to
awesome.
see how this is going to grow. So that's kind of the overview of what Audiolink is. I want to get really nerdy and dive into behind the scenes, open up the curtains, and tell us a bit more about
Mhm.
the coding and the process that it took to create Audiolink.
Right. For sure. So initially, I had created this kind of a test world called Club Nacht, and that's based on a real world structure in Berlin, Germany. Um, and I had wanted to put some audio reactive elements inside of it. And this is pre Audiolink, mind you. Um, so, like, how to actually make that work was kind of like the seed of the project itself. Um, and how it began was using Udon to get all of that audio spectrum data. So in Unity, there's a command called get spectrum data, and that basically takes an audio source in Unity and runs this thing called a fast Fourier transform on it, and it splits it up into this list of frequencies, like frequency amplitudes, basically. And that'll tell you, like, the first in the list are the lower frequencies, and as it goes up and up, you get the higher frequencies, and each one of those list elements is the amplitude of each frequency. So that
Mhm.
is that is like the first, that is like the starting point.
Gotcha. And I'm
And that's how
assuming
you,
that's probably from I don't know what file type it's pulling from, but I'm just assuming that this is from 20 hertz on up to 20,000 hertz.
right. There were a few problems with that initial version 1.0 though. So initially I had made Audiolink 1.0 based on the Unity's um, get spectrum data method. Um, and there's a difference. So with audio signal, as you go up in frequency, it's a logarithmic scale. So as we hear the pitch going up, if you watch the hertz number of the pitch, it will go faster and faster and faster and faster, even though it sounds like the pitch is going steadily up linearly. So the problem with Unity's get spectrum data is that it plots those frequencies on a linear scale. So it actually shifts a lot of the detail up to the highs, where we really want a lot of the detail kept in the low, in the bass, because that's where, like, that's the you know that's where the butter zone is for for audio data. You want to
Hmm.
react most stuff to the bass. So anyway, I managed to get it working even with that setup, and I released Audiolink 1.0 using that, you know, Unity get spectrum data method. And then I met Llealloo, um, who is a good friend of mine, and this was shortly after the release of Audiolink 1.0. And Llealloo actually works at Valve, and he's an incredibly smart person, one of the smartest people I've ever met, for sure. And he had this project called Color Chord, which everyone should definitely check out as well. And Color Chord is a system that um, analyzes audio and then tries to map each of the notes that it hears to colors. So if you play a chord, it will give you colors, like a list of colors for each of the notes. And the goal was to map that color, you know, that list of colors to an LED strip. So that is color chord. Anyway, he had recently just brought that into VRChat. He had ported it somehow into VRChat with this really novel and complex setup of these things called custom render textures in Unity. And it was all running on the GPU. So this is a very big difference to the way that Audiolink 1.0 is running, which that get spectrum data function that I was talking about earlier, that is run on the CPU actually. So if anyone here knows about optimization for VRChat, you'll know that like things are primarily CPU bound in VRChat. And that's kind of just a global issue for like VR stuff in general too, as I understand it. So anyway, he had his whole system running on the GPU, which frees up a lot of the CPU power, and it can actually be much more detailed in its signal processing. So I met Llealloo as he had just finished this port to VRChat with his project, and he was like, "Oh, would you want to join forces? And I can join Audiolink, and we can incorporate color chord into Audiolink, and in the process, port Audiolink to run on the GPU instead of the CPU, which would also clear up the issues that I was having with the bass frequencies being kind of low res because of the the linear plot that I was mentioning earlier. So I I gave it some thought, and it didn't take me long, and I was just like, yeah, let's do it. So we started working on Audiolink version 2.0, and we were pretty much like working on that version 2.0. Like we were, talking to the community, always constantly getting feedback. What should we include to this thing? Because Audiolink 1.0 was really starting to catch on at that point. But Llealloo, his coding style is so fast. Like I was having a hard time keeping up with him, but it was so exciting. It was one of the most exciting projects I've ever worked on. And yeah, really special place in my heart for that guy. And he and I just really got down to it, and Audiolink 2.0 became pretty much as we know Audiolink today. And he took all of that existing code base and merged it with the concepts and ideas that I had released in Audiolink 1.0. And Audiolink 2.0 is the one that really caught on because it had the fidelity in the base, it ran on the GPU, and all these issues that I was having with 1.0 were solved as a result. And that brought more people into the project. Especially like Pema came in early on, and just has been a huge help and still is, like, and yeah, and then we have Hill Float 3 also on board now too, and there's countless other people too that are active members creating Audiolink. And kind of where I'm going with this is that Audiolink is a community project at this point. I definitely had the original concept idea, or I was maybe the first to get it out, and I know that there were other people who had other ideas for how they would do something similar. And I just really want to focus on that, like, because like none of this would be possible without the community. And the hard work and collaboration of many. So occasionally I'll have a hard time accepting that Audiolink is like something that I made. you know because so many other people have been so instrumental in making it what it is today, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years. ever since 2.0 came out. Um, it really just spread its wings as an open source project, and that was honestly the best decision ever. And actually, I wanted to do a shout out to one of my best friends, Phosphonolic, who helped me at the earliest stages with kind of the alpha version in that first Club Noct world. Um, yeah, she's one of my best friends. She's maybe the smartest person I know. And really, really special person to me. And she helped me not only with the some of the math stuff early on, but also kind of helping to structure and architect the project to be a really successful open source project, which she has a lot of experience with. And I will, you know, be forever grateful for her friendship and help on that. Yeah.
Mhm. I think it's really great to see how far along Audiolink has come, especially from the early days of just like basically just us partying and going to places, and it's kind of just developed out of this. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if? And then it takes really incredibly smart and talented people like yourself to figure out those what ifs. Um, and VR chat just itself has made a lot of improvements, and we're seeing how not everything has been implemented into VR chat, but there's a lot of exciting things on the Udon and um, just like behind the scenes world creation and tools that we can look to the future and see are coming. Is there anything that you want to implement or see implemented with AudioLink, or just other ways of bringing information together to be able to create tools for people to use in their own ways?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's a constantly evolving project, and now that it has such a strong community kind of backing it and just constantly iterating and creating, pushing things forward. Even when I've been, absolutely slammed IRL, there have been multiple people that have been just continually pushing things forward, and it's really just come so far because of that. Um,
Hmm.
and as far as what I think, where it should go in the future, I think that's kind of up to everyone, um, and primarily. But for me, we do have some new features that that we're bringing out in the next version, where the controller that kind of sets all the settings, the area at the top, um, CNLR found a way to make that automatic, so it automatically adjusts the gain levels and stuff. And we're calling
When
it
was
auto gain. That's been a really cool long time feature request of my own. And yeah, it's going to be in the next version, along with a new controller design as well. And that, we've had a lot of help from other people. Like T has been doing a lot of really cool stuff, and had some help from Sacred as well. And yeah, just like doing a lot of there's so many little things that go into this
Hmm.
because of all the different people, that are able to help because it's an open source project. And I'm just so thankful that my friend Phosphonolic set me on this path. And such a great idea to make it open source. And yeah, it's just
Hmm.
gonna continue
Where can
benefiting the
people
community.
find where can people find the open source code, and how can they implement it in their own development?
Um, yeah, so the code lives on GitHub for now. I think if you just search for Audiolink VR chat on Google or whatever search engine, you'll probably find it at the top. Just look for the GitHub link. And to actually use Audiolink, it's very easy now because Pema and Momo the Monster, who is a VR chat dev, and I've known him for a very long time. So they both got Audiolink really set up to work in the VR Chat Creator Companion app. So now when you create a world or you create avatars, you can just download Audiolink straight into your project, and it's just like it's kind of like an automatic kind of a thing, which is really nice. The workflow is really, really simple, and props to them for getting that set up. So the easiest way is to just get it through VR Chat Creator Companion. But you can also use Audiolink outside of VR Chat. If you go to the GitHub page and you go to the releases, there's a minimal package. So you'll see like Audiolink blah 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 _minimal as a zip file. You can download that and it'll work in Unity just on its own. So you can use it in other projects or elsewhere or whatever. You don't need the VR Chat SDK to run that version of the package. So, yeah.
Amazing. So we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I want to double back and talk a bit more about VR and how you came into VR. Like, what was your introduction to this? How did you meet all these wonderful people, and what does VR mean to you?
So I've long known about VR, but I've never. I didn't actually get into it for some reason. I think just the cost and complexity of like the setup, and it seemed like it was rapidly evolving at that time, which was, late, 2015s to 2020 or whatever that time period. But yeah, I think I saw a news article about somebody getting baptized. I think it was Drumsy actually getting baptized in VR, and I was just like, and it was like this like anime person, and like I don't have that much experience with anime, but anyway, I was really intrigued by this article, and I read it, and I just thought it was so funny. I watched the video, and like, as a trans person, it was just immediately like, whoa, there's this whole other world there, and I could design my own avatar. I could look exactly how I want, and just kind of present myself however I want. And that was really, really powerful to me getting into VR. And that was really what drove me to get into it, was that thought that like that I could just present myself however I wanted to. And because that's something that that most people, I think, probably struggle with as you're transitioning, or especially early transition. It's like, what am I going to look like? And in VR chat, it's like, boom, there it is. It's like, you hop in, and then it's like day one, you can be whoever you want, and it's really awesome. I think it's a really powerful platform, and I think it's very helpful for the world, and really, really happy to be here.
Mm. Well, we're happy that you are here, and I think we're all very grateful for what Audiolink has done for us, especially for us that are in the music world and DJs and creators of worlds. Now, Audiolink is almost in everything. You can barely go to a world these days where Audiolink is not incorporated in some capacity,
Yeah.
and it's always funny. Like you'll see it incorporated in the weirdest ways. It might have nothing to do with music, and you're just like, oh, wait, that's Audiolink. That this is the world is being completely driven by, and that creativity and freedom, I think, is what makes VR and VR chat so enticing, to be able to explore not just yourself, but all of your creative endeavors. And so I'm looking forward to what you are going to create, as I'm sure everybody else is.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
wait, I think I have one more question to wrap it up.
Oh, really?
Beyond just
Sure.
VR
Yeah.
and VR chat, I want to know, what are you excited for or not excited for, like the future of VR, XR? What is it that you want to see? What are you excited for? What do you want to see changed?
Um, I want to honestly, I just want to see people have a good time with it, and I want it to be more of like an acceptable thing in society, I think. Um,
Hmm.
and it makes me really happy to see, all the recent hardware releases. Um, and I think as far as like where I want it to go, um, yeah, I think I want to see it become less taboo, nerdy like thing, and be more of like a commonplace like thing that I could do safely in public or whatever, and not get weird looks, you know, which I think
Hmm.
a lot of the like, pass through devices that are coming out are kind of like going in that direction,
Hmm. I think
which I think is
Apple
really
being the
cool.
most recent
Yeah,
release
yeah, yeah,
might
yeah.
have a broader
I think
acceptance,
that's
or
gonna
people see it in a
have,
more daily use.
yeah, I think that's gonna start the impact in a big way. Yeah, the Apple headset, I do think so. Yeah. Um, but yeah, beyond that, I want to see it more as a tool for um, connecting with people and productivity in the process. So, like, just kind of connecting the dots, really. I see gaming as obviously like a it's the most popular current thing, I think, with VR headsets. Um, I think that still has a place, but I think that productivity and connecting with people is like where me personally, I really want to see like
Hmm.
the most progress done in VR.
Which, with the pandemic, was something that we saw very much. We weren't able to go out to the normal clubs and social spaces. We just ended up spending hundreds of hours very early on. Even I remember when we, like, early on in the pandemic, we were spending a lot of time
Hmm.
working on, like, the Cat Penthouse, and just 1 week, I had spent over 100 hours
Yeah,
in VR chat.
it was
And
really
that's
fun.
completely aside from
Yeah,
all the projects and everything that were
yeah.
happening. It was really cool to
I
work
kind of
with
miss
you
that time,
early on.
honestly.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get back
Yeah,
to it and maybe eventually finish the Cat Penthouse, which at this
yeah,
point is many years in the
yeah,
making, and I think it's a very
yeah,
wonderful place. But I look forward to all the things that we can create. One day we will finish that. I'm like, do I want to promise that we'll finish that one day?
yeah. I think
Um,
we will. Yeah, it'll come back around. It's still there. It's not going anywhere.
mhm. Well, is there anything that you want to tell the audience, how they can find you and your work, so that everybody can keep up to date with all the projects, not just Audiolink, that you're working on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not too active on social media, um, and yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of stuff IRL that I don't really talk that much about or post on social media, so it might be a little bit difficult to follow me with all that sort of stuff. But
Mm. Yeah, and no pressure to kind of share
it's
that. I
definitely
know that.
easy to follow like what I'm up
Hmm.
to with Audiolink stuff in the Audiolink Discord. So that's probably the easiest way. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. You've been the best of guests that anybody could ever ask for.
Oh,
Please
thanks.
give it up for Llealloo. This has just been an amazing experience.
Thanks, Colby.
Don't go anywhere. Very soon we have
Thanks, everyone.
an hour. We've got an hour with the VR chat staff coming up, and I'm super excited to have everybody up here. This has just been an amazing day and an amazing event, and we're all super happy
Colby.
and thrilled
Thanks,
for
everyone.
you guys.
Thanks for having me.
The
Thanks,
audience.
Tizzy. Yeah. Thanks. See ya. All right. Awesome.